So many people I know are feeling spiritually disconnected right now, not because they've lost their spirituality, but because they've been surviving, trying to navigate the changes that are happening all around them and feeling disconnected from the people that they've trusted and the systems that used to support them that are now crumbling. So, how do we deal with all this stress? How do we hear guidance again without forcing, searching, or spiraling? Some people lean hard into meditation and feel nothing. Others lean into tarot, astrology, or other divination tools and feel clarity until they don't. Many women feel torn between listening inward and looking outward. And here's what I've come to understand: it's not an either or situation. These are two different practices. Meditation and divination serve two completely different purposes on your healing journey. And it's about understanding how and when each tool supports healing and alignment. Meditation takes you inward, to the quiet, to the emptiness, to your own inner knowing. Divination takes you upward and outward, connecting you to universal wisdom, to guidance beyond your conscious mind, to messages that your soul needs to hear. Both are sacred, both are powerful, but knowing when to use each one, that changes everything. Today, we're going to explore the difference between these two practices, when each one serves you best, and how they actually work together to deepen your spiritual connection and healing. Because here's the truth: once you've done the work to become aware, once you've started feeling and releasing what's been stored in your body, you're ready for both. You're ready to go deep within and receive guidance from beyond. Today, we're taking a huge step along the path to your inner divine, so make sure that you listen till the end because today's episode will stir something deep within you that you've been searching for. Welcome to Jyotindi, Journey to the Inner Divine, a sacred space for healing energy, emotional release, and soulful transformation. If you're ready to live with joy, ease, and purpose, you're in the right place. First, let's dive into what meditation actually is, because there's a lot of misconceptions. The common misconception: most people think that meditation is about clearing your mind or stopping your thoughts. They try that, and when they fail to stop thinking, they decide that they're bad at meditation and they stop trying. And this keeps people from accessing one of the most powerful tools to self-connection. You see, meditation is actually a practice of returning to the present moment again and again. You're creating space between you and your thoughts so that you can observe them without being consumed by them. You're training your nervous system to be with what is without needing to fix it, change it, or escape it. You're building your capacity to simply be, not do, not survive, not produce. It's not about relaxation, although that can be a really nice side effect. It's about remembering who you are beneath all the conditioning, beneath all the stories and all the noise. It's about accessing your inner wisdom, the part of you that already knows your truth. And once you've started identifying your patterns and releasing your stored emotions, meditation becomes a space where you can hear yourself clearly. You've cleared enough of the static that there's actually something to hear when you go inward. And there are many different forms of meditation. It's not always sitting quietly and still. There's breath-focused meditations where you are anchoring attention on the breath to stay present. There's body scanning where you are moving your awareness through your body to release tension and to connect somatically. There's open awareness where you're noticing whatever arises without attachment. There's visualization where you use imagery to access deeper states or intentions. And there's even movement meditation, like a walking meditation or yoga, that helps get your body moving and your mind focused. And so many people feel like meditation is too hard. And there's many reasons for this, including not really understanding what you're trying to accomplish through your meditation. It's not always about stopping your thoughts. A lot of times it's about focusing your attention on a single thing, a sound, your breath, a mantra. Other reasons why meditation can feel hard is that silence brings up what you're avoiding. Stillness can feel unsafe if you have a dysregulated nervous system. And this doesn't mean that your meditation isn't working. It means that it's revealing. It's showing you exactly what you need to heal and what you need to work on. Meditation creates the container for emotions to surface and to move through you without being swept away by them. It's where the healing that you've been doing integrates. Meditation rebuilds the trust in your inner signal that teaches you how to be with yourself. So, now that we have a better understanding of what meditation is and what it's used for, let's talk about divination. Divination is any practice that helps you access wisdom beyond your conscious mind. Most people use tools such as tarot or oracle cards, pendulums, runes, a scrying mirror or crystal ball to scry into. And it's not about predicting the future or anything like that. It's about receiving guidance for your present moment. And humans have always used symbols and stories and archetypes to understand themselves. Tarot, astrology, oracle cards, they're ancient mirrors. They're not modern crutches. Some people think that using divination tools means that you don't trust yourself. But actually, divination is a bridge to your own intuition and to universal guidance. The cards and the tools, they don't have the answers. You have the answers. They just reflect back what your soul already knows, but your conscious mind can't quite access yet. So when you ask a question and you pull a card or you use another divination tool, what you're doing is you're opening a channel. Your higher self or the universe or your spirit guides, whatever language resonates best with you, uses this tool to communicate with you. And the random card that you pull is never actually random. It's synchronicity in action. And this is powerful after you've started to do your inner work, when you've cleared the emotional blocks and started reconnecting with your spiritual truth. Your divination becomes incredibly clear. You're no longer pulling cards through the filter of your own wounds. You're receiving the guidance that your soul is actually ready to hear and act on. Here's an example. I was giving someone a tarot card reading recently, and some of the cards that came up indicated a big change coming up. And my client automatically jumped to, I have to end my relationship. And I can definitely see how they got this message, but it could have been interpreted as a big move or a career shift or some other big life change. But she was very connected to her intuition and her inner knowing and received the message that she needed in that moment. The divine speaks through symbols because symbols can bypass your conscious thinking mind. But your body still decides what resonates. There may be a limited number of cards in a deck, but there is an infinite number of messages hidden in them. Divination is the most powerful when it confirms what you already feel, not when it overrides your inner knowing, which is exactly what happened for my client. So, some common divination practices, we talked about a little bit of them. There's tarot cards, which is a 78 card system, which each card has a deep archetypal meaning. There's oracle cards, which are more free form. Often they have a theme like angels, goddesses, affirmations. I have a deck that is my higher self deck, and then I have an light work deck. And they both have really good messages. Some of them are very similar, but they have a different vibe. Some people use a pendulum. You hold it in your hand and you basically try to hold it still and it starts swinging. And this is good for more yes, no questions or for energy clearing or balancing your chakras. Another one we haven't touched on yet, which is really good, is automatic writing. This is where you allow guidance to flow through you onto paper. You put your pen to the paper and you just start writing, and whatever comes out, comes out. There's also astrology, which is understanding cosmic timing to find your soul blueprint. So, the role of divination on your personal journey. Divination can provide confirmation when you already sense that something is there, but you need that validation. It can provide clarity when you're at a crossroads and you need some perspective. It can give you courage when you know what to do, but you need support to take the action. And it provides connection when you need to remember that you're not alone, that you are divinely guided. Divination works because of the law of correspondence, which says, as above, so below. What shows up in the cards is a reflection of what's happening in your energy field and in your soul's journey. And I want to include a word of caution, a trauma-informed word of caution. If you are in a dysregulated state, divination can become a way to soothe your anxieties by pulling cards repeatedly or asking the same question in a bunch of different ways or looking for certainty instead of clarity. So you want to be mindful of that and aware of that and make sure that you regulate your nervous system before you dive into any divination work. I have a special tool for that, which I will tell you about at the end of the episode. So, next, I want to dive into the key differences and when to use each. Here's the simplest way to think about it. Meditation asks, what do I already know? And divination asks, what do I need to hear? And this isn't really about meditation versus tarot, it's about trust. Specifically, do I trust myself to know what is true for me? So, when you want to choose meditation, is when you need to get out of your head and into your body, or when you need to process emotions that are surfacing, when you're feeling disconnected from yourself, or when you need to build your capacity to be still and listen. If you want to access your own inner knowing without any external input, meditation is the tool for you. And when you need to feel grounded and regulated, or when you're integrating something big and need a quiet space to let it sit and settle, that's when you're going to turn to meditation. Like, here's an example. You've just had a breakthrough in therapy about a childhood wound. You don't really need guidance right now. What you need is space to feel it, to sit with it, and to let your body process what your mind just understood. And meditation creates that container for you. When you want to choose divination is when you are at a crossroads and you need perspective beyond your own thoughts. Or when you know something but you can't quite trust it yet, like you need a confirmation. Or when you're stuck in overthinking and you need to bypass your logical mind to get the answers you're looking for. Divination is great when you need encouragement or validation from something beyond yourself. Or when you want to understand the spiritual meaning or lesson in what you're experiencing. Or if you need a gentle push to take aligned action, or you want to connect with your guides or your higher self or the universe. Here's an example. You're considering leaving a job that feels misaligned, but fear is making you doubt yourself. You grab your tarot deck and the cards you pull, you get Death, the Star, and the Eight of Cups. The message is clear. This ending is necessary for your rebirth. You're being guided towards hope and a new path. The cards didn't tell you anything you didn't already know in your soul, but they gave you the courage to trust it. And the beautiful thing is that these practices actually complement each other perfectly. Meditation clears the channel so that divination can come through clearly. Divination gives you something to meditate on, to sit with, and to integrate. Meditation builds your trust in your inner voice, and divination reminds you that you're connected to something vast and loving. When you combine inward listening with the universal guidance, you create a powerful feedback loop that helps you take aligned action with confidence and clarity. And you might still have some fears swirling around. What if I listen inward and hear nothing? What if I trust myself and I get it wrong? What if I need something outside of me to feel safe? For many women, not trusting themselves was once a survival strategy. I know it was for me, especially if your intuition was dismissed or punished or gaslit. When you're in survival mode, you're more likely to outsource your intuition, and tools become lifelines instead of companions. A dysregulated system needs answers right now, but a regulated system can wait for that clarity. Meditation builds safety inside, and divination can feel safer when the safety inside is missing. And there's no shame in using external tools. The question is whether they're supporting your inner connection or they're replacing it. And I want you to know that these fears are valid. Your doubts about trusting yourself and listening and not hearing anything. But the best thing that you can do is to start practicing and practice with small things. Keep a journal and write down your outcomes. And over time, you'll start to see patterns and you'll learn to trust yourself. When I started working with my intuition and my guidance, I did that. I kept track of everything and I started with something small. And the more I learned to trust my guidance and my intuition, the more I saw that it was spot on, even for really big changes that needed to happen, like leaving a toxic relationship. With time and practice, I was able to really lean in and learn to trust myself again. So, how do we use both of these practices together? This is something very simple that you can start today. In the morning, try divination for guidance. Like pull a card from your tarot or your oracle deck and ask, what energy am I working with today? Or what does my soul need to know right now? And don't overthink it. Just trust the first card that you're drawn to. Afterwards, you can journal for 2 to 3 minutes about what comes up when you look at the card. In the evening, meditate for the integration. Sit for 5 to 10 minutes in meditation. Reflect on the card's message. How did that guidance show up today? And what did I learn? Let any insights or emotions surface without needing to do anything about them. Or when you're facing a decision, this is a perfect combo. Number one, you're going to meditate first. Sit in silence and ask your inner knowing, what feels true for me? Notice what arises in your body. Is it expansion or contraction? Peace or resistance? Then use divination. Pull the cards and ask, what do I need to know about this decision? Or what am I not seeing clearly? Once you get that message, meditate again. Sit with what the cards revealed and see how your body responds to that guidance. And you're not choosing between your intuition and the universal guidance. You're using both to hear the full message. Things that you're going to want to avoid are yes, no, fate questions, or fear based future scanning, or using the cards to bypass your feelings. And on that note, I want to give you a word of caution about spiritual bypassing. Meditation can become avoidance if you use it to escape your emotions rather than feel them. Like, I'll just meditate instead of having that hard conversation. Or if I sit long enough, maybe this pain will disappear. And divination can become a crutch if you use it to avoid trusting yourself. Pulling cards obsessively because you don't trust your own knowing, or only taking action if the cards say that it's okay. Using divination to avoid responsibility for your choices is not the way you want to use divination. You want to strive to find balance. Use meditation to build your inner trust. Use divination to receive confirmation and perspective. And always come back to, what do I know to be true? And what action am I being called to take? Both meditation and divination can be practiced in community, meditating in circles, pulling cards for each other, and sharing insights. The practices deepen when witnessed and held by others on the path. If you don't have a community, I invite you to join mine on Facebook, and I'll tell you more about that at the end of the episode. But for now, I want to talk about reclaiming your spiritual sovereignty. I want you to know that your intuition is not broken. Even if you're having an extremely difficult time connecting to it, it's not broken and you can learn to tap in again. It might have just been overwhelmed. And healing brings you back into relationship with yourself and with your intuition. The universe doesn't demand performance. It responds to your presence. So I want to invite you to let spirituality feel nourishing again, to return to curiosity instead of urgency. And believe me, I can relate to the feelings of urgency and needing to feel completely healed and completely connected right now. And I just want to remind you that spiritual tools are companions, not leaders. So I want to address some common blocks and questions. The first one that I get a lot is, I can't quiet my mind in meditation. Does that mean I'm doing it wrong? And the answer is no. The point isn't to stop thinking. It's to notice that you're thinking and gently come back to the present moment. Every time you notice and return, you're succeeding. A lot of my meditation sessions have been constantly redirecting my energy. And you know what? That's okay. You still get all the benefits. The next question I get a lot is, isn't divination just confirmation bias? Am I just seeing what I want to see? And the answer is sometimes yes. But when you're doing your inner work and you're honest with yourself, divination becomes a conversation with your soul. The cards can show you what you don't want to see just as often as they confirm what you're hoping for. And you might be thinking, what if I don't believe in guides or the universe? Can divination still work? And the answer is absolutely. You can see it as accessing your subconscious mind or your higher self, or simply your own intuition speaking through symbols. The mechanism doesn't matter as much as whether it helps you access the wisdom that you couldn't reach through thinking alone. And lastly, how do I know if I'm using these practices in a healthy way versus spiritual bypassing? And in order to determine this, you're going to ask yourself a few really deep questions. Am I using this to avoid feeling difficult emotions or to help me process them? Am I using this to escape my life or to show up more fully in it? Am I becoming more empowered and clear or more dependent and confused? If these practices are leading you towards more courage and clarity and aligned action, you're using them well. Okay, so to recap what we've talked about so far, meditation takes you inward to remember who you are, and divination connects you to your guidance beyond your conscious mind. Both are sacred, both are powerful, and they work together beautifully. Meditation builds foundation, and divination offers perspective. And the goal of both is almost the same: to help you live in alignment with your soul's truth. So, my invitation to you this week, I'd like you to try this simple practice. In the morning, pull one card and ask, what energy am I working with today? And in the evening, meditate for 5 minutes and reflect on how that guidance showed up. Notice what happens when you create space for both practices. Now, if you want support building a meditation practice, I would like to invite you to join my free Facebook group where we do guided meditations together. You can find it at facebook.com/groups/JoeTindy or at the link in the show notes. And if you're new to divination and you want to learn more, just let me know. Shoot me an email or message me on social media. I would be more than happy to dive deeper into this topic with you. And for now, head over to mariahAurora.com/freebie/reset and download my nervous system reset guide to prepare yourself for this new practice. Remember, meditation and divination require a regulated body and mind to be most effective. And you don't have to choose between your inner wisdom and universal guidance. You're not meant to. The most powerful spiritual practice is learning to listen deeply to yourself, to your body, to the universe, and to trust what you hear. And here's an affirmation that you can use this week. I trust my inner knowing. I am open to divine guidance. I am connected to universal wisdom. I take aligned action with clarity and courage. So thank you so much for being here with me today. Until next time, remember this: there is no path to happiness. Happiness is the path.